America's Desert Diaries. Hello, Arizona calling, and I am proud and excited to announce, we've got a new arrival. Yes, our family has expanded. We are now a 5-species household. Lord help us. Along with the humans and the dog and the cats and the fish, this week we welcomed a scaly, spiky bundle of joy. Yes, our daughter's year-long pocket money saving and information gathering exercise, with a bit of final help from Father Christmas and Nana, has resulted in all her dreams coming true in the form of her long-desired bearded dragon. Oh, and I tell you what, she's just beautiful. And her name is Princess Margaret. Yep, my daughter has called her bearded dragon Princess Margaret, sneaking into her room last night to see her little face pressed up against the tank, beaming just as she whispered, "I love you, Princess Margaret." It's just spectacular. I must say, though, she is absolutely gorgeous. We don't quite know how old she is. We think she's about 6 months old because she's actually a rescue bearded dragon. We adopted her from this amazing place called the Phoenix Herpetological Society. It's just a fantastic reptile sanctuary, education centre and animal rescue joint just on the outskirts of Phoenix, about 25 minutes or so from our house. We didn't actually realise they did adoptions until my daughter had a couple of junior keeper days there earlier in the year, in which she got to do things like feed pinky mice to snakes and give bearded dragons a bath. You know, all the things that really every reptile mad 9-year-old just loves to do. Phoenix Herp, as it's known around here, isn't just a place where people can take their snakes that have got a little bit too sassy, that's bitey to you and me, or other animals that for whatever reason they can't take care of anymore. It's also a place that will actually come out to your house to lend a hand if you get home from the shops to find a rattlesnake hanging out in your kitchen or spot a Gila monster on your patio. Think of them as like Batman, but for deadly wildlife. You do remember the Gila monster, don't you? It's a really beautiful but incredibly venomous pink and black lizard. The bite, I've been told, feels like you've been hit on the hand with a hammer every 10 minutes for about a month. Your garden hedgehog, it is not. I don't know about you, I always feel a bit sad when I visit animal rescue places, and Phoenix Herp is no different. They do an incredible job and the animals are so well cared for, but it's just seeing the sheer volume that get left on their doorstep every single day. It's sad. Oh, we've had quite a quiet day today, one of the staff, a lovely man called Christian, told us. Just 6 surrenders today. 6 people who dropped their animals off because they no longer wanted or could care for them. Oh. Anyway, Princess Margaret now has a new home and is happily basking on a bit of choywood under the heat lamp whilst eating strawberries and being glared at by the cat from the other side of the room. Now, of course, it's not just fruit that she eats. In fact, it's mainly veg, but she also needs protein, of course. So perhaps I should have started off by saying we're now a 6-species household because my daughter now has about 20 crickets living in her bedroom. Thankfully, and a little cricket keeper tank. All the local pet shops actually sell them, so we need to go about once a week and stock up. Unless, of course, we start a cricket colony, as they're called, which involves breeding them yourself. And do you know what? I'm okay with not doing that. I'll pass. The crew at Phoenix Herp, of course, have a cricket colony, and they also have a... wait for it. Steel yourself for this image. A colony of another reptile delicacy, cockroaches. Mind you, the previous house we lived in with the evil landlord, we would have just had to have opened a cage door, to be frank. No doubt they would have wandered in. There were bloody loads of them everywhere. But those 2 hideous images of swarms of creatures with many legs is nothing. Oh, I don't know if I should tell you this. It's a bit vile. I don't know if you want this image in your head. But anyway, a guy Dave worked with had so many snakes. He kept really big snakes, about 30 of them. and so many friends who also kept really big snakes, he actually rented a storage unit out in the desert and started a rat colony. For him and his other snaky friends. Ooh, anyway, there's a lovely image. Things you find when you wander out into the desert. Animal lovers can be a bit different around these parts, although I should point out most of our friends do just have cats and dogs. So ironically, we, the immigrants, out of all of them, are the weird reptile family. I guess though our status as desert dwellers is finally cemented, eh? So, hooray for Princess Margaret. She is a beauty. You can go and have a look at her on facebook.com/seeyouinthedesert if you'd like to bask in her beauty as she's currently basking under her heat lamp. Ow. I did also find myself this week climbing up a mountain, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I woke up super early one morning. Full disclosure, I did have a 2 whiskey headache going on. There was no way I was getting back to sleep. Anyway, I shuffled into the kitchen and saw the sun was about to come up. And I thought, well, I could sit here with a brew and watch some telly, or I could remember why I did this, why I moved here to this crazy part of the world. And that was to have new experiences and to do things I never could have done back where I used to live. So I put my trainers on, got the dog, and went out. I'm so lucky, as I've mentioned before, to live just 5 minutes walk from one of Phoenix's many beautiful mountain preserves. My local is Shadow Mountain Preserve. And in a few short huffs and puffs, I was up near the top watching the sunrise over the valley. And it was just beautiful. One of those moments where you can forget just for a few seconds the absolute disastrous shape the world is in so many different ways, and just sit in silence and watch the dark sky give way to pinks and oranges and yellows and finally blue. It was magic. And despite the drama of the last year and uncertainty about the future, pushing all that to the side and just sitting in the moment, I really felt, yeah, I'm in the right place. As the sun started to rise in the sky, Juno and I watched a bunch of coyotes making their way home after a night chasing jackrabbits. And then we too made our way home, to the demands of coffee from Dave and pancakes from the girls, and yeah, I gave in to both. A couple of days later, I climbed up again with some friends, and in virtually the same spot, my friend Jeannie, who's originally from Ohio but had lived in Kentucky till she moved here to the valley, turned to me as we gazed out over the cacti and said, whoever would have thought it, eh? What? I asked. And she turned and looked at me and said, that you can fall so in love with, she gestured out towards the desert, rocks. And we laughed, but she's so right. There is something wonderful about those rocks and dust and cacti that it's really hard to explain. But yeah, you fall in love with it. I'll see you in the desert.